It's not always about games, and it's not always good. Full frontal garbage.
Full frontal. Editor's note, just to catch up with what's going on here. My dumbass went a whole 12 minutes in this podcast with my mic muted, so there's a whole one-sided conversation going on, which is really great, but we're just going to give you a quick summary of that. Riveting. Okay, moving on.
Something healthy. I drink water while I'm doing this podcast.
Oh my god. I am an absolute fucking chode.
Are you not recording?
I was. My mic was muted.
How is your mic muted?
I had muted it for recording purposes like 2 days ago with freaking Hitman. Oh, I do a check every time, and this time I'm like, oh, you know what? It's no big deal. It's always right because I'm always on it. Fuck no! I don't know.
You want to start over? You want to keep going?
Well, we can keep going, and we can kind of like retouch on some things. It's not like that big of a deal. Oh,
you can do a voiceover.
Yeah, just do something. Oh my god!
Please, God, leave this in.
It's staying in. Yeah, the world's gonna know my shame. All 6 people who freaking listen to this podcast.
It'll be okay, David.
God, man, this is
so welcome to the Full Frontal Podcast. Since,
Full Frontal Garbage. Bum, Alexi. Apologies for the coughing, by the way. I try to lean away from the mic as much as possible. I'm actually on the tail end of a cold, so luckily cleared up in time for the podcast. So
you want to roll around on some of your points that you wanted to make on Cookie Clicker before we move on? Now that you're unmuted.
Summing up everything I said, and hopefully this is going to be useless because by some miracle it still got picked up. It didn't. I know it didn't, but I still can hope. It'll get me through this podcast at least. Ultimately, I'm going to be making some shells and cheese after this podcast. That's what everything I was saying led up to. No, but I mean, you heard half of it with Jordan. I'm gonna try and find some clever way to keep all the audio in up to this point, but been playing the shit out of Cookie Clicker. Absolutely love the game. Played it years ago. Had no idea how deep it actually went until I started playing it in the browser version on the PC, and it's amazing. It's weird how like these little games that are meant to just be like idle things that you don't even mess with like 3/4 of the time. You just do a little thing and then you leave. And that's the beauty of these kind of games, because I kind of made a comparison with MMOs and how it was kind of hypocritical of me, because I've said that MMOs are progression for progression's sake, and I hate that. I hate that with a passion, because it's like you kill the things to get experience, to level up, to get better armor, to kill better things, to get better armor, to level up, to get to a cap, waiting until the next cap, and that's literally it. And it's just like it's a dog chasing his own tail, but when he gets his tail, he goes, okay, I'll give you a head start, and it just keeps going. And that's all it is to me. And I understand that there is story and lore and all this world building that enthusiasts get into, and I'm all for that. That's really cool, but it's just at face value, that's what the game is to me. But then I look at Cookie Clicker, and it's like, you're going to click some cookies, and then you're going to wait a week, and then you're going to come back, and you're going to buy some stuff, and you're going to click more cookies. And that's just what it is. But then while you're doing that, there's all these little things, these tiny little details, and this little flavor that's sprinkled throughout the entire game. And it slowly wraps you, like it slowly brings you in. And it's because it's like, you're just clicking cookies, and that's all you're doing. But then it just slowly and slowly and slowly becomes more. And it's just incredible to me. Ugh, that pretty
Very
much,
well put.
Yeah, pretty much wraps up what I had been saying up to this point. Oh my god,
it's very good.
Yeah.
A little update news on actual sides of it is I actually got my business cards in.
Really?
Yeah, that's 500 of them.
That's badass.
Yeah, so
I want to frame one. Oh,
I'll
are they
mail it to
sleeping?
you.
Taking a little nap. Probably got a busy day tomorrow.
What?
The cards. I was making a joke because they're on your bed. It'll be okay.
What?
We'll work on it. You said they're on your bed, right? Is that what you said?
No.
What did you say?
No. No, I said I've been sprinkling them around town, hoping
Oh.
to get ahead.
Oh, okay. It was kind of under your breath, so I didn't catch that. You may want to speak up for the, recording's sake.
Well, you know what? I've got a volume limiter set, and the damn thing turns green, so if you can't hear me, it's your fault.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that you've got it set at least a little bit above whisper.
Probably.
That actually wasn't loud at all.
Well, yeah, it's because I'm an audio techie junkie.
Yeah,
so I know how to set my shit. But no. Secondary kind of thing though is talking about all kinds of idle games and cookie clickers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of jogs my memory of last week's podcast, which you can find on David's channel, by the way.
YouTube.com/bumtastik.
Yep. We were talking about techwear and all that kind of stuff, and I finally got my new boots in too. So I know now why punks have wore Doc Martens for forever. Because they are super comfortable.
Comfortable.
Like, really, really comfortable. Like straight out of the box, not even broken in.
That's good.
Yeah, most comfortable boots I've ever put on.
Yeah, that's the thing about quality and fashion and like clothes and boots and everything is because like you think to yourself, I would never spend that much on such and such, or I'm one of those people. I mean, like if I could get one outfit and just wear that for the rest of my life and it somehow stayed clean, I'd be fine with it. I hate spending money on clothes.
And see, that's the thing too. They're not even that expensive.
Oh,
Monica
really?
spends more money on her work boots than I did on these.
Oh,
they
wow.
were $100 drop ship straight to me.
Oh, what, your boots were $100?
Yeah.
That's still like twice than what I would normally pay for boots.
Oh, no, dude. Fucking my quote unquote nice boots that I got, the linesman's boots that go all the way up to my knees, those were $350 before shipping.
I mean, I understand. Boots are boots.
Then again, they're made out of like half a cow.
Baby
so
seals.
It's a lot of leather. No, there's a lot of leather in those boots. Like, I kid you not. I'm 6 foot tall, so I've got long ass legs. They come up to my knees. And they're full grain leather the whole way up. They're fetish boots, basically.
Ooh, I'm shaking in my custom baby seal leather boots.
But I kind of segue that topic into this topic that like you don't really like. I know your style hasn't changed too much.
Not at all, actually.
Like when I met you, you wore two things: baggy t-shirts and cargo pants. And right now, he has fulfilled his fatherly role of wearing strictly baggy t-shirts and cargo pants.
And sandals.
However,
the sandals broke.
No,
they
finally
broke, just out of sheer wear and tear. Yeah.
Hell, your dad cred is slipping. You either have to buy those exact sandals again and complain that they don't feel right, or you have to switch to all white New Balances with crew socks. That's what you have to go to, and you have to wear the jorts with them.
Oh man, absolutely! You have to wear the jorts.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
I'm interested to see what the parent. Quit hitting your mic. I'm interested to see what the parent fashion is going to be like 20 years from now, because inevitably the young generation becomes the old generation, and it's not like whenever you grow older, you kind of like. Baseball teams, when they finish the match, you're not like high-fiving the elderly on their way out, good game. They're passing off their hand-me-downs. You know what I mean?
Speak for yourself. I am wearing my granddad's clothes. No, not really.
No.
I am
wasn't there
Macklemore.
Well, I was going to say, wasn't there a song about that? Oh, God.
But no, it's kind of what I'm talking about. Is kind of like that. Is whenever I first started like getting to pick my own clothes and stuff like that, I was so ungodly particular. Like,
The exact opposite.
well, that's the thing. Is like, I was so particular with it, and it wasn't even necessarily like an underlying thing because I was trans or whatever. No, it's just like it didn't feel right. Like this isn't comfortable, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here like, this isn't comfortable. This doesn't fit right. This is like weird, you know. And now I'm like, is it comfortable? I don't care. Throw it on my body.
Throw it on my
It's like,
body.
it's like I could give a crap.
Which
It's
that's
like
funny.
one of my favorite.
Go ahead.
It's like one of my favorite things right now is this literally a, I don't want to call it a hand-me-down because I did get it from a thrift store.
Yeah.
But it's from like the 70s and it's this old workers coveralls. Anytime I want to go outside and work on something, but I don't feel like getting out of my pajamas, it's like I just throw that over my pajamas and go outside and take care of whatever I need to take care of. And I look like a little old hag out there from like the 1970s, just head wrap, just babushka out there doing something in the yard.
Well, see, that's what's interesting, actually, is more often than not, the whole comfort versus like fashion thing is the more comfortable. Like people will make people like the what not to wear shit, you know. It's like, why do you wear all this stuff? It's super tacky and bad, and it's like it's comfortable. So it's like when you say like, is it comfortable? No, and that's actually you getting less and less picky. That's interesting to me.
Well, that's another thing too, is like don't take anything I say for fact because I'm the weirdest dichotomy because
write this down.
The complete opposite is also true. Do you remember how much I absolutely detested harem pants in high school?
Yeah.
Like I just like hated when people wore those things. Those look stupid. They're terrible. I've got like 6 of them saved on my Amazon wish list right now because I think they're cool.
You're evolving.
It's weird. It's like there's something about exposing yourself to other cultures more and like really I'm serious. It's like learning about the movements behind like the music and the art and things and how that influences the style that you really begin to appreciate. Like I would have never made a battle vest.
Yeah.
Until I met Monica.
Yeah. Well,
and she is a dyed-in-the-wall punk.
Yeah.
And it's like because of her, I learned a lot of stuff about like full-on trad punk, UK punk, you know, street crust, all of that kind of stuff that kind of meshes together in the things that she likes.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, that's amazing. And it inspired me to make my own thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like food, you know. You can look at something all day and go, "That's gross," but you never know until you try it. You know what I mean?
It's the same thing with food too. Is like when you're a kid, your taste buds are different than when you're an adult.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna try something as a kid that's gonna be gross and icky because ugh. You know, your taste buds are still developing. You eat the same thing when you're an adult, and you're like, "Oh, this is fantastic."
Yeah.
You know, that's why they always like label kids as picky eaters or whatever. But it's not. It's an actual evolutionary thing, and I think a lot of things in human life are that way. Because things that I was disgusted with pre-transition, I don't even care about now.
Yeah.
Like one thing that always bugged the ever-living crap out of me, and it kind of does still today if I have the option to, is I do not like my cuffs on my jeans to be too short. And it still kind of bugs me now, but like now I just like, okay, and I just tuck them into my boots.
Yeah.
It's like something I would have never have thought to have done. It's just like not even a style choice. It's just like, well, they're too short to be normal lengths, just tuck it in your boots. Whatever. It looks fine. It's more functional that way anyway. But like, there's a lot of issues surrounding my style choices. But those notwithstanding, there's this weird separation. And I don't think I'm the only one that feels it, that you really begin to appreciate someone else's style when it's authentic, you know?
No doubt, no doubt.
Doesn't matter if it's, you know, fashionable, unfashionable, you know, trendy, tacky, whatever. You know, they can be this trendy person that wears all the latest fashion. But if there's someone who legitimately leans on the fashion, they enjoy the fashion, they love the fashion, they're genuine.
Yeah.
If they're just buying it to be popular, it's fucking ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
You can tell that.
Yeah.
Same thing as if you're like wearing just the most god awful looking stuff. If that's your style, you're doing it because it's comfortable, you're doing it because that's what makes you feel good. You can tell that in a person.
Yeah, it just radiates from.
If you're doing it because all random, or you know there's a problem, and you have to wear those things, you know there's a part of your mind that person sticks out to you.
Yeah.
And depending upon what it was, is like there's equal parts, oh, I want to help them, or why the do they have to be so annoying? You know?
Yeah.
We've all met those kinds of people who like, what are they called? They're those god awful shoes that everyone in our grade fucking wore in high school.
Crocs?
Like no, not Crocs.
Heelys?
No, Heelys are awesome.
I was going to say, because Heelys are badass.
No, the girls used to wear them all the time.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Jordan.
They were like slippers, but they were Ugg boots.
Ugg boots. They're boots. They're not shoes.
Right. Well, you know what I mean.
They're shitty boots, but you know what I mean.
That's what I'm saying, is like they had no practical purpose. They weren't that warm. They weren't durable. They cost a fortune, and they were ugly as sin.
Yeah, I was going to say, we talked about how they were Ugg boots because they're ugly. Side note, I'm over 500 million cookies per second now. That's passive income, by the way.
I'm very proud of you. I hope you know how much you've accomplished.
Yeah, I have. And it's not even been 2 days yet. I've made 38 trillion. I've made 38 trillion cookies within 1 day, 10 hours.
Where's Michael Jordan when you need him?
Where? Stop it.
Get help.
Get some help. Oh. Anyway.
But yeah, back to the fashion thing, is like, if you're wearing them because they're comfortable, yeah, I get that. They're comfortable boots, you know, until they start to break down within like the first week. But for some reason, these ugly things started spiraling out of control. And it's like, I know you're not wearing these because you like them. You're wearing these because these other 6 blonde, like bleach blonde, popular wannabes are wearing them. Yeah. But every now and then you would run across someone who would love these weird, awkward styles. And they didn't care what you thought.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind how people can go from one direction to the other. And
those are both bands. Is there a band called The Other? I think there is. That was the wrong thing. Here, you keep going. I'm going to look. The Other movie.
People go from one direction to the other based upon how they see.
Band. Yeah.
How off. God damn it.
Going from one direction to the other. Okay, I'm done. Just needed to satisfy that curiosity.
It's more about authenticity, though.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's really an interesting way how my style specifically is turned, because
morphed over the
years. I went from just, you know, gray man, don't look at me, I'm gonna blend in the background, to lumberjack lesbian part-time goth, to tradesman / punk with a little bit of goth flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Now apparently mixing in some like we talked about last week, like techwear, cyberpunk kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, I know I'm a dichotomy. I know I'm weird. I know I'm eclectic. But yeah, kind of fashion forward.
No.
Your damn cookies.
Keep going. I hit a chain. I just literally this is gonna take like 3% of my brain. It'll be okay.
It's like the fashion choices.
Yeah.
Are you know, when someone has a whole aesthetic, you can tell like they have a genuine personality.
Like when they're put together, like
right. It's like the baggy shirt, black leggings, Crocs, or not Crocs, the Ugg boots thing. That's not a style. That's just...
They're bland and generic, and you're not going to get much from talking to them. That's what you kind of pick up at face value.
Saying. They're bland and generic, and they were comfortable. And then someone was pretentious enough to try and play it off as a style. And then it became a style. And no one had it authentically anymore.
Yeah.
Even though that's a very comfortable outfit to wear, you removed that comfort by getting like these special kind of leggings that, you know, fit too tight, or these big baggy shirts that were like ill-fitted because they were stylish and they would get in your way constantly, or, you know, like I've already said with the Ugg boots, they just destroy themselves within like a month of actual use.
Yeah.
So it's like someone took their comfort outfit and they couldn't say, yeah, I'm just not feeling it today, so I just went comfy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like they can't, like people around them can't accept that.
Totally.
And that's bad.
Yeah.
So they had to play it off of like, oh, this is the new style, you know? It's a little bit disjointed how I've put this together, but...
Yeah, very passionate.
I got to thinking about the clothing thing from our last podcast, because I just watched our last podcast kind of overview. And I got to thinking, it's like, what's the difference between just wearing cyberpunk clothes and actually being immersed in like that culture? And it's like, I started, you know, I had the worry that's like, oh, I'm going to come off as a poser, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You don't even have to, I mean, this kind of ropes back into what you're talking about, but it's like, you don't even have to have intention of practicality. It's just, if you wear it because you like it. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Is like, if you wear it because you like it, then you're authentic.
Yeah.
If you're wearing it for someone else, you're not authentic.
Yeah. And they're not going to care. They're not going to care in a month anyway.
Yeah, that's what it ultimately boils down to, is wear things and collect your style.
People, please.
So
wear clothes.
Yes. But wear what you like because you like it. Don't wear what you like because some celebrity endorsed it, or some fucking...
Don't worry what Jordan thinks. Jordan's a piece of shit.
I mean, that's a given. I mean, if you're listening to me and taking anything of actual value from this, I commend you, because I can't glean any information from my brain, so...
This is all just ad-lib. Everything out of my mouth is just ad-lib at all times.
No, you think it's not.
My brain's just taking up space. Oh, man.
Oh, no, it's grape jelly rattling around in the jar in there.
Rattling around, so it's coagulated. It's like...
Oh, yeah, no.
It basically turned back into raisins at this point.
No, we're straight up into, like, fruit roll-up candy.
Oh, man. Okay, stepping away from fashion, moving on to Vigi games. Have we talked about Hitman? I'm kind of paranoid now that we had already talked about Hitman.
You know, I don't think we did. I think you had just gotten into it right after our last podcast.
Okay. Well, this is going to be kind of like it's not like necessarily a segue, but like Hitman is skimming the surface, kind of like skipping the rock across the water, getting to where we're going. But I've actually been playing Hitman a lot recently. Hitman 3. I love the Hitman series. It's incredible. It's amazing, and these newer games are just fantastic, and I've been diving into that. I'm actually in the process of making a video, which I should be done with that in the next couple of days, because I can actually get back to recording footage for it, because my voice isn't wrecked anymore, which is something else I brought up at the beginning that you didn't hear.
Yeah, what's wrong with your voice? Just an overview again.
Oh, I've had a cold that basically it made it sound like a, I used a cheese grater to like wash my mouth out. Sounds like I gargled with a cheese grater. That's what my voice sounded like. It was terrible. It's cold sucked ass. It's been like 2 or 3 days now. But anyway, hey, there it goes. It's coming back a bit. Anyway, my point I was gonna make was, did a lot of looking into IO and stuff like that because I was wanting to get to play all 3 of the Hitman games because they actually give you access to them. The levels inside of Hitman 3, which is really cool. It's kind of bullshit how it's all going down right now, but hopefully it'll all get worked out soon. My point is, they've been like perfecting this like secret agent sandbox type situation, right? In their games in this format that they've got down to an art form these days. It's incredible.
Hitman really does have a flavor that no one has been able to replicate.
Did you know that IO is currently in the process of making a 007 game?
I did hear about that. Honestly, I did.
I'm hoping this wasn't brought up last freaking podcast because I'm the one who told you. I'm hoping that was just unrelated.
I'm sure you've told me. I just don't think it was on a podcast.
Okay, anyway, that is amazing because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, and of course it's going to be a little bit more, I mean, you would figure anyway that it's going to be a little bit more, it's going to be story driven. So it isn't going to be as like, it's not going to lean as heavy on the like the sandbox aspect of it, but I hope that concept is in that game at least a little bit because that the freedom of exploration and control over how you do things is just it's awesome. And that's where like a good 75% of the fun comes from in that game is just figuring out new ways to do the same shit that you've already done. It's replay value is incredible. But the fact that we're going to get to do that now with kooky spy gadgets, that concept just makes me so happy. So happy.
There is a level of amazing gadgetry that really the 007 franchise brought to the world that, it's like real spies are kind of boring, They hide their little trinkets here and there. They might have a cool shoe phone here and there, but like...
Well, the point is to be as under the radar as possible.
Exactly. You're supposed to be under the radar. You're supposed to spy on people. You're not gonna have like a rocket powered dolphin shaped capsule that looks like a Aston Martin that splits in two and shoots off into the water to escape the exploding Fortress of Solitude looking base in the middle of Antarctica. That doesn't happen. No. Real spies were, boring, gray, Cold War, and close to death at all given times.
Yeah.
Like the moment they're found out, they're dead.
Yeah, and that's
James Bond kind of added a campiness to it that is really entertaining.
Yeah. And I love
that.
I love it. I love that thought. I love the possibilities of what it could be. I'm trying not to build it up too much in my head because the more I think about it, the more I realize it is probably going to be heavily story based. At least you would think with, James Bond. But maybe just maybe some of that like sandbox flair is going to stick. Yeah. I hope so.
If it's the same company, then I have a reasonable amount of hope.
See, that's what I was thinking, is if they're the ones doing it, then there's got to be at least a level of trust in how they would handle it.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you're not going to expect, Hitman James Bond edition. But you're hoping that they would do at least a good enough job of it.
Yeah.
Where...
It's like, it's a different picture painted with the same kind of strokes.
Exactly. You want the same flair maybe, but not the same concept.
Well, yeah, you
want to see the James Bond concept, but you want to see it executed in the Hitman style.
Yeah, well, it's like what you don't want the game to be is a glorified skin pack.
Exactly.
Like you
don't want that because that's not fun either.
Yeah, you want it in the James Bond universe, I guess you could say. You want James Bond doing these things, not Agent 47 wearing a James Bond skin, because that's a completely different genre entirely. What with all the skin wearing?
Yeah, because that's the whole thing. Is Agent 40? Isn't Agent 47 more of like an assassin more than a spy?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So you have more. I feel like with a James Bond style game, is like you have the same kind of mechanics, but I feel like there's room to open up for more varied gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember in like some video games to where like you kind of get bored of it and it's kind of getting samey, you know, enter into room, kill bad guys, solve a puzzle, whatever. So like the game designers almost knew you were going to be bored by this point, so they would throw in like that one special awesome level.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think of an example. Like the only one that's coming to my head right now is like Bayonetta. Anyone who's played like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry or these hack and slash games, it's like I love Devil May Cry, but I'll sit there and be the first one to tell you that after defeating the enemies, going to next room, defeating enemies, going to next room, solving puzzle, going to next room, defeating enemies, going to next room, it gets a little samey. And given that like Bayonetta, yeah, it's exactly. And like while Bayonetta had this flair and this way of playing the game and introduced new mechanics that like Devil May Cry never had.
Yeah.
It still had that like, okay, we get it. It's a reskinned Devil May Cry. So about halfway to 2/3 into the game, they threw a railgunner level in there.
Yeah.
Where she's literally riding on top of a missile or a jet or something. I can't remember. And you get to control the jet and like a rail shooter, like from the original like arcade cabinet days. And it broke up the monotony so much that you got reinvested into the game.
Yeah. Well, that.
And I really think doing like a 007 thing in the Hitman style would really open it up to that. It's like instead of like go to place, sneaky kill someone, get out. You could really have this like go in, sneaky kill someone in the middle of the game. You have a car chase or something like that.
Yeah.
And maybe not exactly that, but you know what I mean? Like there's a level of interesting flavor that James Bond, I've said flavor way too much. There's an interesting level of gameplay that James Bond franchise could definitely introduce to the Hitman repertoire.
Yeah.
Because we know the sneaking and the killing and the fighting and all that's great. It's Hitman.
Yeah. Well, the fighting, like melee combat, still has a little bit to be desired.
Well, yeah,
for sure.
there's some tweaking that needs to be necessary, but you get my point. The game mechanic is there, if not the move set.
I really don't know what I'm going to do about the beginning of this freaking podcast, man. I'm so upset.
It's okay. We'll call it a mulligan. I'm sure our whole fan will understand.
That one entire fan. Man, my brain's I'm kind of wrecking my brain right now, coming up with some clever way of using it, like a quick rundown of your responses to me or something like that. I don't know. I'll work on it, though. But anyway, speaking of Bayonetta, real quick.
Yeah.
And this is another thing that kind of ropes back into that whole thing of like opening up your mind and kind of learning as you go and assimilating information as you get older. That's like when I played that game first, it confused the hell out of me because it was like, who is the target demographic for? Because you're playing this like tall, curvy, sexy, like badass chick who is wearing librarian glasses and has her hair all done up on her body because she's a witch and so her clothes are her hair. So obviously duh, when you're using your powers, she basically becomes naked. It's like, okay, I see who this target demographic is for. But then like reticles or lipsticks when she land, or reticles are like lips when she lands, butterflies come out, and there's all these different things. And I'm like, who the hell is the demographic for? I mean, like the overall game, it makes sense, but like, what is this? And then I realized over time, my voice is starting to wear out again, you can tell. I realized that's because those choices are thematically appropriate for her character.
Exactly.
And that opened up a whole new layer of Bayonetta.
Or if you're an egg like me, you want the sheer raw violence and the joy of looking at attractive people, coupled with the fact that it has this whole aesthetic choice of butterflies and lipstick and, you know, candy sucking lollipop thing.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, that's euphemistic in itself. That goes back to the thing.
That's what I'm saying. Not only do you like looking at it, you also relate to it.
Yeah. And I mean, and there's also a certain surrealism. Like there's a bunch of different angles. My point is, for me personally, in my experience, and like learning to look past that initial response of what the hell, and that kind of being off-putting, even though the game was pretty fun, and then kind of looking at it from a different perspective and getting over myself for a second and going, oh, okay, I get it. I'm starting to sound like that frickin' the gun guy. Pistols put holes in people. Rifles put holes through people. Shotguns at the right range with the right load will physically remove a chunk of shit off your opponent and throw that shit on the floor.
What is that from?
He's incredible. He's incredible. Put Terminal Ballistics. I think you should be able to look that up on YouTube and you'll find the dude.
All right, I'll look it up after the podcast.
He is amazing. He's incredible. He has a lot of opinions and a lot of experience and knowledge on things that he talks about, and he's awesome. He's amazing. But anyway,
he is amazing.
He's amazing. I like watching him on YouTube. I don't want to hear myself talk right now.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.